Greetings and thanks to my select appreciating viewers interested in the ultimate truth. This video is 125th of my YouTube channel Writer Sandhanam Speaks. There is a minor deviation this time to my YouTube's usual content and language. My 124 videos thus far produced contained talks on literature, philosophy and spirituality. Mostly the last, which is the gateway to truth with capital T. My talks were both in English and Tamil, the latter being my mother tongue, with which I am more at ease. Now I have decided to switch over to English language for some time, despite my limited vocabulary in it. The reason is my intention to cater to the spiritually minded, discerning English-knowing viewers, despite their different mother tongues for some. This includes Tamilians too. However, my main target is global audience, as the choice of my subject is universal. This is about the monumental, profound, ancient Tamil wisdom book. Its name is Thirumoolar. The name of the poet author, or more appropriately the name of the sage, is Thirumoolar. This Thirumoolar is a spiritual encyclopedia covering every aspect of life, containing 3,000 poems composed by the author Thirumoolar, who was supposed to have lived 8,000 years ago in ancient India. This voluminous book runs into 1,305 pages. Since it is a revelation by a sage, his voice, unlike other writers, is not borrowed, but original and authentic. Even as well-versed scholars are rightfully intimidated by its size and content, who am I, who is no scholar on any subject and in any language? However, sage Thirumoolar, out of compassion, offers himself for my honest understanding, considering my varied experience in life at the ripe age of 78, so that I could disseminate his wisdom to my equally interested viewers, with the result that this world, notorious for its material obsession, could also be a place for spiritually oriented people, lessening the earthly evil. With this introduction, let me start the subject, firstly touching upon the sketchy biography of this sage cum poet, who was endearingly called by his fellow sages as the king of meditation, Davaraja. His biography, unlike any other modern biography, is a product of oral tradition, bequeathed from ancient times. According to that, Thirumoolar, by a divine order, started his journey from northern Himalayas, the abode of Shiva, in search of his fellow sage Agastya, the progenitor of wisdom-filled ancient Tamil language, living down south in Podige Hills in Tamil Nadu, part of Western Ghats now. On his way, an unusual sight presented itself to him. The place is the outskirts of the Sathanur village in northern Tamil Nadu. The sage confronted a fleet of cattle of cows weeping and circling around a dead man on the ground. He was their shepherd, and his name was Moolan, who was bitten by a snake. By the way, Thirumoolar's original name was Sundaranathan. This Sundaranathan, taking pity on this weeping cattle, with his magical power, revived the shepherd's corpse by entering his body after hiding his own in the nearby tree hole. The tears of the cattle immediately stopped, and they joyfully followed the shepherd back to the village home. But on returning, the sage, now bearing the name Moolan, found his original body missing. Understanding the divine intervention, he walked up to the nearby holy place Thiruvaadurai, yet another abode of Shiva. Choosing the Bodhi tree there, he sat like Buddha in meditation under its benevolent shade and started composing, as is now called, Thirumandiram, the holy mantra. By the way, acquiring the holy prefix Thiru epithet to his name, Moolar. Hence he was called Thirumoolar. He is supposed to have composed a poem per year coming out of his annual meditation. A story defying, challenging human logic. But when an aspirant like me delves deep into his poetic ocean, cannot but believe this holy myth. Even for the omnipotent biblical God, 6 days were required to create this universe, along with Adam and Eve, our holy parents. For a holy poet like Thirumoolar, 3,000 years were required to compose 3,000 poems, full of spiritual wisdom and wisdom alone. In this first video, part of my serial talk, to be followed by a few more with healthy gap of time, let me take up today one such poem, which in form is called Venba in Tamil. That is 4-line rhythmic sentences, easy for the eyes to read and comfortable to the brain to absorb the meaning quickly. These 4 lines run like this. பின்னை நின்றன்னே பிறவி பெறுவது முன்னை நன்றாக முயல்தவம் செய்கிறார் என்னை நன்றாக இறைவன் படைத்தனன் தன்னை நன்றாக தமிழ் செய்யுமாறே. Though I cannot transmit the sweetness of the Tamil poetic meter into English, let me try my luck in translating them for the eager ears of the viewers. The verse runs, why do you stand back on this earth to take subsequent births? Is it because you did not meditate before your previous deaths? Look, as for me, I was created by God as a man virtuous, so that I could sing his praise in Tamil, glorious. Of the 4 lines, the last 2 lines talk of the purpose of his earthly creation. That is, earthly creation of the poet. That is, he, a virtuous piece of creation by God, desired that he should compose poems in God's praise. Thirumoolar, the man sage or Jivan Mukta, that is liberated by living, not only composed poems to flatter God, but in doing so, Thirumoolar shows man, as the English poet Milton says, to quote, to justify the ways of God to men, quotation ends, so that man is liberated. The first 2 lines explains it amply clear. Thirumoolar, like Buddha, emphasizes the root cause as well as the effect of human suffering. The cause is man's excessive desire of possession, distinct from fulfilling his daily needs. And because of this desire of attachment, he is reborn again and again. Thirumoolar offers the solution of meditation or contemplation, the lack of which leads to rebirth and suffering. No man, irrespective of his position, can escape sorrow. Sorrow in the form of old age, disease and death is common for both king and the pauper. Is there a way out to escape suffering? Yes. The poet Thirumoolar, like Buddha, says there is a way out. Desire, a synonym for covetousness, greediness, is a cause, and desirelessness is the cure. Only a fool who sees all around him old age, disease and death, which are stealthily following him to but still does not cure himself by renouncing this excessive attachment. When these sages offer a solution, any intelligent human being will listen to them. Otherwise, sages warn man that he cannot avoid rebirths and the attendant sorrows. This is a secret revealed by this poem. And Thirumoolar is a curing medical spiritualist. Man's life, with its many faults and bondage, have to be tackled by the wisdom instruments which are in abundance in Thirumoolar's medical armory. We will enter his treasure trove for another poem in our next episode. Thank you.